I'm sure most of you must have been hearing stories that has been revolving around one particular pastor. In fact, let us give him his right title. He said he is an apostle. I'm talking about Johnson Suleman. It has always been women, women, women. But are these things real? Is it true? Because he said it himself. He said, how? How is it possible? One man, just one man, one man. And I looked at it like, well, let us look at it, even if he has high libido. Or is it spiritual? What is happening? Or did someone curse him? Did he put his hand under an anointing that created this lust for women? What is really happening? Or is it the kingdom of darkness that is struggling with him? What is it? In fact, hear him, hear him. He said it himself.
When I saw the scripture, one man will see list.
Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv.
Now, let us go to the story of Apostle Johnson Suleman and actress Halima Abubakar. She came out with stories of what happened between them years back and how she went through trauma. She said she bled and she told us something that she aborted 3 times. And the question that was asked, did he force you to abort? She said no. I aborted it myself. As an adult, you are liable to whatever action that you take. 2, she was asked, was there any time that Suleman gave you some substance that aborted the child in you or started this bleeding episode that you claim you had? She said, well, she's not sure. I cook for him in my place and we cook and eat wherever we are. They have a place like a love nest, apart from hotels that they often go for their relationship and sexual romp. Now, on the other hand, we have some group of people who claim that Apostle Johnson Suleman is a good person. But when asked, they will say that they have never met Apostle Johnson Suleman. But from the conversation that they've had with him and the interactions they've had with him, they say he's a very good man, he's a very nice man. Now, let us look at the interview, or let us say the discussion on Freeze platform that the Freeze hosted. Stella, the blogger, hosted Kemi Oluloyo, our, in quote, investigative journalist. The only person missing in that interview is the, in quote, victim, Halima Abubakar. Now, Halima Abubakar is saying, I know him. This is what happened between us. He is not a nice person. He's not a good man. He is a liar, a professional liar. And these other people, I'm not saying it is not possible. You might be facing a direction with someone and you see the good side of them. Someone else might be seeing the bad side of them. But there is something that I want you to take note of. All of these people saying Suleman is a nice person, is a good person. I'm not talking about his pastors who are benefiting from him at this time. All the people that have been close to Suleman, they say that he is not a nice person. One of them is Stephanie Otobo, who claimed that she had some dealings with him and zero, things happened in her life. She nearly lost her life. That's one. Halima Abubakar, who is close, according to her, to Suleman, said Suleman is not a nice person and she's recounting all that happened till date. 3, one pastor left Suleman's church. We are no longer hearing now. They say they've settled him with some thousands of dollars. He claimed that Apostle Suleman stole his wife, and the story went front and back. We realized that Suleman knows the lady before. Then later the man said, no, Suleman does not know the lady. I was the one that introduced her to him. Whatever it is that is between that, we don't know. The story is this. He said Suleman is not a nice person until he had to come to make a video and he acted like he was drunk. That is that. Now, Joseph, a young man that lived with Suleman, Amos, brother to Joseph that lived with Suleman, that brought out some of the stories and some private data because he lived with Suleman. At least they lived in the same, compound, if you know what I mean. He said Suleman is not a nice person. The question we want to ask is this: when did Suleman stop being a nice person? Is it when things started going sour between them? Is it when they started offending each other? When was Suleman a nice person? When Suleman brought them into his life? Was Suleman a nice person there? Was Suleman a nice person to Halima until things started getting bad? Was Suleman nice to those pastors until things started getting bad? Was Suleman nice to Amos, Joseph, and the rest of those people until things started getting bad? Daddy Freeze, he said he is only after them for doctrines and it's got nothing to do with personal talk. Now, Suleman came out when people started talking about him and Freeze. He made a video. He said, we just talk about Bible and all of that. And we know one thing, that Suleman knows how to share money. All of a sudden, we realized that Daddy Freeze piped down. All through the scandal of Suleman, Freeze shut his mouth. The only time Freeze decided to talk about this, not really talk about it, he only opened a platform for it and he kept his mouth. He didn't really say much. He's only saying, Why? So as not to offend. I see how Freeze react to other people, even when it is not his business. Of course, he's a blogger now. I see how he reacts. I see how he comments. I see how he talks about this and that. It's a personal opinion. But all of a sudden, all Freeze does is, exclamation, without saying anything. What I've observed is that all of these people, Freeze, they say, we have not met him. Kemi Oluloyo, we have not met him. Stella, we have not met him. None of these people have met him. But the people who have met Mr. Apostle Johnson Suleman, they are saying that he's not a nice person. In fact, I could remember back then, Pastor Davis, one of his pastors who came out back then, you see, in fact, you know what? Do you know that this same man, this same person, this same Suleman, decided to bring the video of that guy down all over YouTube? It is not his face in the video. A video where the young man was talking about him. He decided to bring it down. Anyway, I remember back then what he said. He said something. He said there is a difference between, that is his word, I'm quoting it. He said there is a difference between weakness and wickedness. He's not saying this as weakness. A man could have wickedness for, greed. Weakness for lust for women, lust for pleasure and all of this, money and all of that. But there are people who are wicked. And that is what he said he saw. He said he saw wickedness, like, man, you have had this, you have gotten this. You talk about money. Suleman is not broke. Talk about people who are ready to maybe break their legs for him. He has them around him, his members. People who are still loyal to him. There are people who still see him like, he said he started the spiritual son in Africa, whatever that means. So he has certain things to his own level that he has acquired. Look at Davis on the other hand. It's not as if he cannot speak. He can also speak. He can do all of those. But there's always one thing that is missing. They cannot do, in quote, if it is true that they are really prophesying, they cannot do the prophecy thing. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. Is Suleman a wicked man? I remember what Amos, Joseph, I remember what they talked about. How he stole his girlfriend. How he will wear face cap. Trace the girl. Come on. This is serious. Even house help. Like, he wants to take everything. So people started wondering, is it that he's chasing their glory or what? Anyway, to round this up, our own Charlie boy, area father, went on his tweet. He has not spoken in any of this before. He went on his tweet because this one has now reached a point where people want to really dig deep into it. And he read this. He wrote this, and I'm going to read it. He said, "No be say I too like to yab pastors, but I know many Nigerian pastors are either fraudulent or just a scumbag. That's putting it mildly. But this one takes the cake. Suleman, you better be careful, oh. I did dream last night where some women attacked you, cutting off your pee. You see, cutting off your bola. Well, I'm sure that he's going to be very careful. I don't know if this thing if these accusations are all through, if they're just trying to rope him, because there's nothing else that we want to hear. Everything we've been hearing is Suleman, this lady, Suleman, this lady, Suleman, this woman. This has always been the story. Now, what are your thoughts? Is he a good man, a man of God, or what? I want you to decide for yourself. Do not forget to like and share this video. Do not forget to subscribe if you are new here. Thanks for watching.
I say a very big thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel, and if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.